Welcome back to Mixed
and Mingled.
We're your hosts, Misha
and Miko. Today, we're talking about something that's a big part of both of our lives: love, family, culture, and what it looks like to build a life that blends different backgrounds together.
Before we get into that, we're going to just do a quick recap since we've kind of left you guys, waiting and holding for a bit. Sorry, we were mom lifing a little bit hard. I guess I was the culprit behind that.
You were not the culprit. Mom life was in all of its glory.
Yes. To be transparent, my son had his tonsils and adenoids removed. So I was back in newborn mode pretty much for still a little bit in newborn mode, fighting for my life, waking up every 2-3 hours to give him medicine. And let me tell you, the recovery has been brutal. But you've been through that with Grace.
That surgery is no joke. So I was like, when we were trying to record, I was like, girl, stop it because you need to sleep.
Yeah, I did it as a grown-up. He's doing better. I did it as a grown-up, and dude, like, they gave us narcotics. So I this poor guy, I was just like, oh my God, it's just sad. But he's getting better.
Like, here's Tylenol and your Motrin, and here you go. Let's see how it works out for you.
Yeah. And with grown-ups, they're like, here's some Percocets. What else do you need? Do you need hydroco? I'm like, bro, what? Anyways.
And their little bodies, like, they're like, what is going on? Because I feel like that, like, the first couple days they're cool, but then once all that, like, everything kind of wears off and they're really feeling it, they're like, what is happening?
It's tough. It is tough. And it's tough as a mom seeing your child go through something that you physically cannot control, and you can't make him be out of pain any sooner than he already is. So that kind of sucks. But anyways, onto a lighter, really, is it a lighter topic? But we're going to jump right into it. So I guess we're going to talk about interracial relationships, right? But when people hear interracial relationships, they pretty much think
interrelational.
When they hear the words interracial relationships, they often think that it's like just about race, right? But for us, it's been so much more than that. It's like family traditions, it's different perspectives, it's navigating the assumptions that come up, raising kids, obviously. And then amongst all of that, you're learning how to create a family culture that's like uniquely our own, right?
Right. And we thought that it was going to be a good idea to kind of share our own personal experiences, family reactions, and expectations to those funny moments, and even kind of also including in those challenging conversations that happen in any family. And just, what are some of the things that we've learned along the way?
Yeah. And especially now that we are raising mixed kids, we definitely find ourselves having these conversations a lot more often. We want to talk about the identity. We want to talk to them about belonging, representation, making sure that they feel connected to every part of who they are.
Right. And they're very important things that, we want to make sure that we're building our children up to be strong. So, whether you're in an interracial relationship or if you're part of a blended family, raising multicultural kids, or just even curious about our experiences or just what that experience looks like, we hope this conversation gives you something to think about, maybe a few laughs along the way, and just, some things to consider.
Yep. So grab your coffee or wine, whatever it is that you're going to need to get through the episode. And let's start at the beginning. So when you first started dating Chuck, did you think being in an interracial relationship would be a big deal to other people than it is to you?
Didn't really think so, just because we, especially kind of being in the DMV in this area, it's something that is so common, and it wasn't a thing. It was just, and all our friend group was very diverse. And so it was just, I feel like I've always kind of been intentional about surrounding myself with people who have, like-minded mindset. And so it was just kind of like, oh, okay, you're cute, I'm cute, hey, let's date. It wasn't, for me, it wasn't something it wasn't something that was a big deal to me or the people, like, including my family, introducing him, because it was what it was. What about you?
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. Growing up and really dating in the DMV area, for sure, it it came with its own uniqueness. It just wasn't taboo to be like, oh my God, I'm dating somebody outside my race. It was almost like sort of expected. Right. And I get it in the DMV, like DC is chocolate city for decades, but like so many transient people move there, but it was more so on an economical level than it was, the diversity by race. So you were just around like-minded people. It wasn't a big deal for me. It really has never been a big deal, especially in my family. I mean, did your family, when you guys started dating, ever have opinions initially?
So they didn't. There was not opinions about race. That was completely by the wayside. My family was a lot more concerned just in terms of my what am I trying to say? Like, they wanted to make sure that he was the right person for me because I had been in, a previous relationship that did not work out well. And there was a lot of things that I had to navigate. And my parents saw me going through that navigation. And so they were trying to make sure that, okay, are you good? Is he good? They just really knew that this was someone that I was really into. And they wanted to make sure that Miko didn't have the eyes closed to the red flags and that I was choosing someone who was going to be that partner for me. So that was really where a lot of those conversations came from, because they were like, okay, we hear this conversation and, he's met everyone around here and he didn't meet my family for quite some time. And so they were just like, are you good? Is this good? Are you sure? So that was really kind of where a lot of the conversation was surrounding. What about you? Because I know your family has opinions, so I'm excited to hear about what they said.
They have opinions. However, do their opinions matter? Generally not. Like, I love them to death, but your girl's been doing hers since she was a teenager. And no, the opinion was, oh, he's cute. Girl, get off my man, please. My mother was in love with Clayton. Gosh.
She sure did. She loved her some Clayton.
Everybody was all about him well before I was like fully invested. I'm like, you guys need to back up just a little bit. But there weren't any.
He came in with that salesman mentality.
He sure the hell did.
He did. He came in with that. He came in with that smile, and he's like, "Hey, I'm Clayton," and he just charmed people. So they were like, "Misha's in the room still. Hey, girl, how you doing?"
Pretty much. I was like, and I'm a salesperson, and I'm over here going, "Hello, hey, me, remember me, the person who's in your family?" No, they will gladly replace me. Okay, and keep him.
He did.
Yeah, no, he loves it. He loves them. It was never an issue. Wasn't really an issue. I never gave them the space to have an opinion on who I was dating when it came to somebody else's race. I mean, I've dated Japanese, I've dated Black, I've dated Muslim, I've dated Jewish, I've dated every race, religion that's out there. And I was just like, let me do me. I'm experimenting. I'm choosing, and learning. But
and it's nice too, because I feel like that's not necessarily something that was, I don't want to say accepted, but I feel like it came with a lot more pushback, in, I don't know, 70s, 80s. And I feel like that is kind of something that's cool to see how things have evolved to where it's no longer about what the ethnicity is. It's what is that person bringing to the table? How are they treating my son or my daughter or whatever it may be? Like the focus is this a good person?
Yeah, I would say yes, but that I would also hold space for people that are very pro. They want to specifically date within their own race, and that is totally fine. Like, do you? That is not. I do not judge what you want to do, and please keep that judgment away from me, because that has nothing to do with what I'm building over here. Does it make me more, let's say, aware of my own identity? For sure, because you want to hold your own space, your own upbringing within that relationship. You're not like losing yourself because you're dating someone now or married to someone of a different race, background, tradition, like all the things, cultures. I wanted to make sure I came into any relationship 100%. I'm Jamaican, I'm Black, I'm still also half Indian. So it's like all of these different cultural dynamics that are just in me, I am now bringing this into a whole new space with my husband. And you're doing
So did you
something
feel
similar
like it
too.
made you more aware? So, well, I mean, did it make you more aware of your identity? Just like how you said that you wanted to make sure that that was kind of at the forefront. Is that something that you kind of kept at the forefront, or was it just something that when the opportunities presented itself that you did?
I came into this marriage, or really just any kind of dating, knowing who I was as a person. I did that work with understanding my background, understanding the cultures that I was representing, and didn't want to stray from that whatsoever. That was me. I was like, I'm proud to be Jamaican. I'm proud to be half Indian. I'm proud to be Black. I'm proud to be like all the things, right? And I wanted to make sure that, yeah, I was aware of that, and I didn't. Okay, because girl, we are Black. However, we speak with a specific vernacular. And for that, we get chastised of being like, oh, well, you talk white. And it's like, that's funny. I didn't realize I can speak a color, but whatever. But that made me, but that made me even more, I would say, assertive about do not try
Don't
to
put me in a
separate.
box.
Don't put me in a box. Don't try to say, oh, well, she's not this, so she couldn't be this. And I'm like, just because I'm educated doesn't mean I can't also fit in the box of being Black. Like, what? Like, the shit that I've heard growing up is wild.
I agree. I think it's funny because sometimes I did feel, and it wasn't pressure. It was never pressure from him, because it's so funny as even when we talk about it, he's like, I didn't know what you were when I first met you. He's like, I didn't care. He's like, I just thought that you were beautiful. He genuinely did not know. And so, because when I'm like, I'm Black. And so he's like, oh, okay. He's like, well, that's cool. So I was like, you're invited to the cookout. Come on, let's go. And everybody was like, oh, okay. Yeah. We love him because he fit right in. He fits right in. And so I never felt there was not pressure from him, but I had always had pressure and just this, I don't know, let's ask Miko 10 questions about what are you? And I'm like, I'm Black. But that's the crazy thing is that when I introduce myself to somebody, that's not the second question that I ask them. It's how are you? Or how did you meet this person? But it just seemed like for the longest time until, and maybe I guess it doesn't happen as much now because my circle is kind of who my circle is, but it was, oh, well, where are you from? And I'm like, I'm from California. And they're like, no, where are you from? And I'm like,
where are you really
Southern
from?
California? Like, I don't know what, are you trying to ask me what continent? Because I've said that 7 times. So,
yeah.
And then they're looking at me when I say I'm Black and they're like, and I saw like, let me show you a picture. I didn't really know that I had to break out the family tree. And I would just say, okay, yes, there's mix all the way down the line in my family, but I am Black. And so that always kind of felt a little bit different because, as I was being introduced to new, friends and family that he had there, it was kind of like, well, what? I can't quite put my finger on this. And it was not everybody, right? But it was just, that's always been an experience that I've had just in general. So I guess in terms of when we were meeting people, it's almost like I felt that, let me just put it on the table here. And that way we're done and we get that little elephant out of the room.
Yeah. No, I get the elephant because I still get that question still to this day where someone be like,
same.
Where are you from? And I'll be like, I'm Jamaican. And they're like, that explains it. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I forgot my dreads and my Rasta t-shirt the other, like, what? Like, come on. It's wild. But I don't fit in that box because my mom is Indian, right? Like her parents are from India. So it was being raised in basically just raised in a Hindu culture, but then I'm also raised in Jamaica. And I present obviously as I'm Black, but I look mixed and people are like, but I can't put my finger on it.
They're trying to figure it out. And then you see Clayton, and then you see Kingston and Charlie, and they're like, this math is not mathing. So let me just figure it all out. And it's the same with, myself and Chuck and Grace, because there are, he is blonde hair, blue eyed. And then there's Grace, who is curly hair,
daughter,
but blonde hair and blue eyed.
Blue eyed. Yes.
Right. She is, and then you bring in my stepkids and they're like, what is happening? So they're those conversations have to be had, because, and I get it when people are trying to calculate, and I don't think that they're asking these questions to be, some people are. They are asking those questions to be intrusive, but I think that some people are genuinely just trying to figure out, okay, like, what's the situation? And I'm happy to explain that because I'm proud of it. But I think that when people but when you tell them what the answer is and they're like, but no, like, really, what? I'm like, do you think I'm making this up just for fun?
Exactly. It's like, you think I'm doing this for shits and giggles? Like, no, this is what it actually really is.
This is so what it is. I am 43 years old. Let's just chill out. So
now
then
that,
it's like, in those types of conversations, what are the conversations for you that matter? Like, now that you have kids, what are those in terms of like parenting mixed children?
My biggest thing is respecting everyone. It doesn't matter their background, doesn't matter what they look like, doesn't matter if they're yellow, purple, green, black, white. It does not matter. It is having a mutual respect, or just respect in general, of everyone. That is the number one thing that it matters a ton. However, it also matters that my kids understand the world that they live in. And there are going to be other children, or I would say families, that don't have these conversations with their kids. This is a conversation about our family dynamic. My husband's white, mommy's black, that we have been having since our kids were still in diapers. So those are the conversations that matter to me. I want you to, see the world and have such a rainbow outlook on it, but I also want you not to be jaded by what is truly out there, in some regard. I want them to be, hopeful, but we've already been in situations with my kids, where, they've been isolated because of their color. So it's
crazy. It's so young, and it's so crazy.
So yeah, it's wild. What are the conversations that you're having, with Grace?
So it's definitely because she sees quite the rainbow in the family, and she understands, there's on my side and then there's on my husband's side. So I teach her that, just, it's really the same of like what you were teaching your kiddos, is that every skin color is beautiful. And if anything, everything is beautiful. Everything that everybody does, it's okay. We respect it. We love it. Mommy is black and daddy is white, and that makes you special. Just as, anybody's whose parents or whatever, that makes them special. It's really just kind of being respectful within that space and understanding that, you are, no matter what anybody says, and you are going to hear things, and I think it's also important to note that not everything is going to be rainbows and butterflies. I'm empowering her to be confident within herself. There was one time where she's so intuitive and insightful that they were learning about the civil rights movement, and she came home and she was so confused, and she's like, Mom, I'm so glad that that you and daddy weren't alive during the civil rights movement, because I wouldn't be here. And and I acknowledged it, and I said, you're right, babe, you are so right. And I am glad that, you recognize that, it's very special that daddy and I can be together today. So as she's getting older and she's asking me these questions, I want to have honest conversations with her.
Yes.
And Chuck and I have discussed it before, where we're like, especially for how Grace looks, she's blonde haired, she's blue eyed, and she's going to hear conversations sometimes, I'm sure, from both sides of people. And I'm going to, I want for her to understand, to be empowered for how you respond to it, how you kind of navigate through those situations. I think it's more so being open to her asking me questions and me answering them as honestly as I can, but in a way that's appropriate for like an 8-year-old to process,
Yes. No, I fully agree with that, because sometimes, I get it. We're not shielding them whatsoever from the realities that's out there.
Right.
We're just trying to make those conversations palatable for their age group. Which sometimes I know that there are going to be instances where it's well out of their understanding realm, and that's fine. That's our job to, kind of bring everything back down to reality and explain to them what happened, or, what the case is. But it does suck, but they're going to have differences, or I would say different experiences that we didn't have growing up.
What are some experiences that you had, that your children have had, that you have not had?
I mean, right now, because they're so young, there's a lot that they're not really going to have to deal with, which is good. I grew up predominantly in Jamaica. I guess I've been here now longer than I have actually lived in Jamaica. But growing up there, I grew up with the motto, out of many, one people, because everywhere I looked, race was never like the predominant factor, was never like the first thing that someone sees when you have a conversation. Here, the civil rights movement piece, my kid came home freaking crying because there's an incident that he was told he couldn't play with them because he was brown, and I was just like, let me have these little motherfuckers. And
that is like ready to take the earrings off immediately.
Because they're
anyways, so little. They're so little, and you can't take that pain away from them. Yeah.
No. And I never experienced something like that growing up. I didn't experience any of that until I moved to the States. There are going to be things that, that they will have to deal with. Having conversations about being pulled over is a conversation I'm going to have with Kingston and Charlie before they reach the age of 10. So it's like, these are the things that I didn't have to have those conversations when I was growing up. I don't know. What do you think is going to be a little bit different for, I mean, obviously.
It's funny. So my parents, and I'm learning that they shielded me from a lot of things, which I appreciate, because it did help me not know what were the things that were going on around me, because I think that probably could have had a really big effect on my self-esteem, or, because I already, when you're learning about history and you're learning about all the things, and you're always in that, marginalized group, and you're kind of looking around like, oh my God, because I grew up only going to private school, and that was, I was always a very few of the bunch. And so I was very aware of what my identity was as compared to the group. So I always found friends who, and I want to say who looked like me. I always made sure to have a culturally diverse group, because that to me is where, like, it's just where I fit in. And I feel like Grace, she's had a lot of the same experiences in terms of, she has not had the same experience. She's been around a lot of diversity, and I have purposely done that so that way she can experience the same type of thing that I did, because she doesn't feel left out. I mean, like right now, and I know that she's little. We've been very blessed in the fact that we have not had to have these a lot of these hard conversations yet, and I understand that they're coming. I want her to have these same experiences so she is able to understand there's going to be hard times. There's going to be things that people are going to say. There's going to be things that people are going to do that you're not going to understand, and it doesn't make sense. But this is the way that the world is. Like, that's what I was trying to come back to, is that my parents had shielded me in a way that when I was younger, it did not affect who I was. And I felt like once I got older and I understood a little bit more of the way that the world worked, then I could fully process it. So I'm hoping that her experiences are the same as mine, because I don't want it to break her spirit, or I don't want for her to think about it otherwise. And I do understand that she has a different kind of experience than I did, but I can still hope to guide her in that same way.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you and I are similar in that matter, in terms of like, we have purposely built our group, our friend group, to reflect what the rest of the world essentially looks like. It's not just one race. It's not just one religion. It's not just one. It's not a monolith, right? We want our kids to be around diversity. We want them to grow up with people of so many different cultures and backgrounds. And that's why we travel so much out of the country with them, is because we want to show them what is out there in comparison to the four corners of the US. Right. And I get it. Every place has its own issues, yes, but
For sure.
It's so beautiful out there. It's so beautiful if you just put aside your differences and just understand that everybody is just all trying to be the same. We're just trying to have a great family. We're trying to raise our kids right, and we're just trying to get through fucking life.
And the people who don't agree with that, and the people who don't fit that narrative, and the people who want to be, who bring that negativity, that is where we're like, you know what, if we hear it, then done. Like, that person's, this will not be in my space. And that's what I want for Grace to feel proud of. I want for her to always feel proud that she is proud of her heritage. She's proud of, where mommy's from. She's proud of where daddy's from, and that she is able to kind of, have that strength in knowing this is what my identity is. And if you don't like it, you know what I mean? Keep it moving.
100%. 1000%. I'm gonna get a little funny here. I know we just got like talking about some a little deeper stuff than we typically do, but I do have to bring this back a little bit. We're gonna talk about some little cultural curveballs for our husbands, especially. Because
oh my goodness,
because girl, I came home one day and he had taken the kids to the pool. Love it, have a good time. But they came home and he had taken them directly from the pool to like a birthday party, and then they came, I forgot, I was like working or something, and they came back and my kids look ashy as hell. And I was like, how dare you?
I was going to say, to he
run
put
them out
lotion
this
on
house?
them?
He was like, I just rinsed them off in the shower. And then we got dressed. And I'm like, they needed Aquaphor on their face.
No,
and they needed some moisturizing lotion on their kneecaps and elbows and all over their body.
You cannot forget the potions and lotions. Otherwise, they look like they're rolling around in flour.
Yes. I'm like, I get it. She's got, like, Charlie's got pretty, like, straight and maybe a curl or two here and there. Kingston's got like little curls, and I'm like, dude, we have to put things in your hair. We don't have similar hair types. We can't be having them out here looking a mess.
I'm telling you, it is. So Chuck's, so he, my step kiddos, they all have straight hair. And so Grace has a very mixed hair type. I can't even explain what it is. And so he had combed her hair, bless him. He combed her hair without one spray of water. And I came home and I said, what did you do to my baby?
She looked like a teased cat.
We're talking, it was Lion King, nods and Benya, Mararich. And I was like, babe, what? She is the queen of the pack right here. And he's like, no. I mean, he likes, he loves to have our hair. He likes it teased. He likes it all these things. I said, baby, we got to put water. Anybody who's curly, I said, that is rule one of having curly hair is you do not comb without water. I said, give me my baby's comb and let me go do my girl's hair. Oh my God. He's learning too about the potions and the lotions. I'm like, sir, we do not go without.
Yeah, no, we don't. And you know what? I am no longer leaving it up to him and to fate. I am as soon as those kids get out of the bathroom, I'm like, guys, what do we have to do?
I got it.
Okay, lotion up the legs, lotion up the arms, your feet, like everything needs to be moisturized. Okay.
Yes, Grace is going to be starting her skincare line at like 8 years old.
But no, seriously, Charlie, like she would go, Mom, I love when you put Aquaphor on my face. I just love it. And she's just glistening from cheek to cheek.
Glistening, glowing. Yes, girl. I love it.
Oh my God.
I'm also going to throw you under the bus. I am going to throw you under the bus because remember, you're going to remember this one. We were sitting there. It was you, me, Clayton, and Chuck. And you looked straight over at Chuck and you were like, Miko wore her do-rag around you yet? And I was like, ma'am. I have not, because I was sitting there, if I was staying over and then after I would wait till he went to bed, I'd put it on because I'm not trying to scare, I'm trying to ease him into my world. So I would wake up, go into the bathroom, take my hair down real quick. And, you wake up just like, oh yeah, I woke up like this and no, ma'am. You just decided you're like, let me just throw it on out there. And I was like, well, here we are.
Well, it was a shock that you hadn't shown him yet. Cause let me tell you, it was like, day whatever of me be with Clayton, just like I did with that turkey neck when he met my friends. The same thing I did when I was going to bed with my hair was straight. Like, no, I gotta wrap this bad boy up. I gotta put my little silk scarf on. Okay,
because I remember one night now I come out of the bathroom gangster's paradise.
Yeah. Oh, girl. The other day I came out of the shower, I washed my hair, and I didn't put anything in it. I was like, I was just going to let it air dry. Didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And I just remember walking into the room and Kingston goes, Mom, why does your hair look like that? And I was like, boy, shut up. Because I literally looked like I got electrocuted and I didn't care. Okay. I didn't feel like combing my hair out. And listen, our curls be popping, but sometimes it needs a little extra to get it done, but
but then other times we look like the fifth member of Bone Thugs and Harmony, and that's all right.
I'm all right with that. I'm okay with that. Bum, 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 bum. I'm all right with that, though.
First of the month. So, have you ever had? Have there ever been like any kind of public assumptions or comments that they're just kind of like off the cuff that you're like, okay, they're funny, but they're just kind of like, they really asked me this.
Yeah. Is that your real hair? Do you have extensions in? What is the other one? Can I touch your, is that all your hair? Oh girl, because my hair would be like close. Charlie's hair is in her butt crack,
long.
Okay. Super long. My hair is usually like also pretty long, like down past my boob. Right now I cut it. Like I cut a couple inches off. And yeah, the first thing is like hands are coming towards my hair and I'm just like, if you don't keep your fingers to yourself.
Stop it. You're about to get snatched.
I'm not a toy. I am not a doll. Please don't pet me. Like, what about you?
Yes, that microaggression is real. I would say it's probably the same thing. I think that there's only there have been. I've just really more so gotten looks when it's Grace and myself because I know that they can tell that the connection, but they're like really trying to figure out like, okay, I think that's her kid. I think that's her kid. That is her child. Yes. And yes. And so like if I'll say, oh, I'm Grace's mom. And then they'll be like, oh, now I see where she gets that curly hair from. I'm like, okay. Okay. It's, you know what? I just, and it's funny because instead of, I'm like, I'm not going to take my time to educate you about how people come in lots of shapes and sizes and colors and all these different things. So I'm just going to let you go along on your merry way. And now that whatever had to stop you and that you had to really kind of, it was that important for you to stop and stare. Now that we've got it figured out, I'm going to go along my merry way and you can go along yours.
Yeah. There is no, there's no question. Oh, sorry. I was going to say, there's no question that Charlie or Kingston belongs to me because it looks like they are my little mini imprint, but they just ran out a little bit of ink.
They're so cute. Not the ink cartridge running out. You're crazy. So when you feel as if like if there is judgment or stereotypes or whatever that is, like how how do you navigate it?
God, I think I'm a little bit too confrontational. Where am I talking about myself, or am I talking like, are kids involved? Because if it's myself, I am having a whole conversation with said person if they're like being
Okay.
disrespectful, or if they're having like a stereotype, and it's like, tell me more. Why do you think that way? Because this seems to be a reflection about
Okay.
your lack of education. When it comes to my
So you name
kids,
it.
I go and I name it. There's no point in me sitting
Okay.
here like hiding from it. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
everyone within their own cultures and with their own race tend to joke about the stereotypes like within their own races, right?
Of course. Yes.
Anybody can talk about the whole watermelon and fucking chicken. Like, yes, I actually really do like it as a side and an entree. Okay? Like, it's so stupid to me.
And she'll finish the
But,
whole thing and leave the
and I
bone
will finish
clean. I've seen it.
I absolutely will. So it's like when those stereotypes are brought to me, I am just, can you explain to me what the issue is? Because there really isn't any. It's just
Mm-hmm.
your
Mm-hmm.
lack of knowledge.
Right.
And with the kids, it's we haven't crossed that bridge yet, thankfully, to navigate anything, especially with the judgment, because we're in very like-minded groups. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But what about you? Do you have any specific times that you
I
had to
would
deal with
say that
that?
there was one time. There was one time that I couldn't, it was almost like I was watching this happen from just a space that I was like, this is really, so I had gone to pick up my daughter from a party, and there was a parent that was there who was just, I don't know what they were doing. They were trying to
Yeah.
just kind of, I don't know if they were trying to put themselves in the same space as me. I'm not quite sure what it was,
Oh, I
but they were just
remember this.
making all of these comments, so many comments that were just so blatantly they were crazy. And it was
Out
all
of
trying
pocket.
to
Yeah.
link, like, it was all very out of pocket and trying to put herself in the same space as me. So you got me knocking my microphone over here. And I was like, okay, there was two ways that I could have handled the situation, right? You can either go route one, which is just lose your mind and light them up and tell them about themselves. Or there's option two, which is where you just kind of sit there and you just, and you don't continue the
Yeah.
conversation and you just let them bury themselves. And I chose option two because I had to think about it, where I'm like, you know what? How is this going to reflect on me in front of all of these people? And they who are clearly uncomfortable. So I just chose to take that route. I had my champagne in my hand and I said, self, you're just going to drink this champagne down and that's what's going to keep your mouth closed. And then when you get home, you're going to tell your husband all about it and talk all the trash that you want to, because, I didn't want this reflecting on Grace and being like, ooh, her mom is crazy. Well, she is, but not in public spaces unless I need to be. And so it was just kind of, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the high road here, because no matter what I say to this person, they're still going to have that mentality. And it's not my job to teach you. If you want it, right? It just kind of goes back to, if this is how you want to be, have at it. But this is not, it's just a mental note where I was like, all right, we're good. I gotcha.
No.
So,
and I get that.
Yeah.
I respect that you handle situations well like that. And it's sad that we have to always, in a lot of spaces, think about how we're going to respond so that we're not being, angry Black girls, or we're not.
You can't be.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then what would you say that you hope that your kids learn from kind of like how you handle yourselves, and like just kind of how Kingston and Charlie, how they see yours and Clayton's relationship? What do you hope that they learn from it, and kind of like how they experience life through what they've seen?
Yeah. I think what they're going to learn, or hope that they learn, is respect for everyone that is out there. acceptance, not tolerance, acceptance. I don't want to tolerate someone. I want them to accept them for whoever they are, whatever their background is, and understand that no matter what differences and how different you may look, you may have a different culture or background, whatever, there's a way that you guys can build together. And that's what we're showing them. But also to not tolerate disrespect when it is blatant and just do not tolerate people walking over you, but do it in a manner where you can educate someone without having to slap a hoe. Yeah.
I love it. That's the best. I could not agree with that any more. And I think I especially love how just seeing the way that our kids see the world now, and they see such diversity. And I feel like our marriages are kind of like it's a little microcosm in today's society, and it really mirrors what they see. I'm excited because I feel like it helps them. They know what acceptance looks like, and they know this is how it feels to be loved. And so when they experience otherwise, that's where they know that they don't have to tolerate it. And I feel like we're doing such a good job of empowering them to understand, hey, this is what love looks like. This is what life looks like. This is what family looks like. And when you encounter something other than that, this is what you do, and this is why, because you have to protect that space.
Exactly.
I love it. Well, I mean, I feel like that was a great, that was the best. I'm like, all right, drop the mic and just turn off the episode. We're done. So I loved it. I loved it. So we're going to cap it up then. So thanks for spending time with us today. Remember, every family is different. Every story matters, and life's a little better when we're willing to meet in the middle.
Yes. So join us for our next episode where we're going to be talking about a little bit more about our upbringing, navigating our identity, work and social life. It's going to be a whole stir of the pot. Anyways, so until next time, guys, keep embracing your own beautifully mixed and mingled life. Have a good one.
Bye.